Hello everyone and welcome to this lecture on concurrency testing using JMeter. In today's session, we'll delve into the world of concurrency testing, a crucial aspect of ensuring the robustness and performance of your applications. So what is concurrency testing? Concurrency testing is the practice of simulating multiple users or threads accessing an application simultaneously or all at the same time to evaluate its performance under high user loads. This type of testing helps us understand how our application behaves under stress and heavy traffic conditions, allowing us to identify bottlenecks, performance issues, and potential crashes. So let's jump straight into the JMeter that we have configured in the last lecture and start doing some work to do work. So I have switched over to Apache JMeter that we have configured in the previous lecture, and in this demo we'll use the example of a to-do API application to illustrate the process. The first step is to configure the thread group in JMeter. So think of thread group as a virtual user group that defines the number of concurrent users or threads and how they behave. So when I open this, it opens with the default test plan, and on this test plan I'm going to add threads, users, and thread group. Okay, so I can name this thread group anything, but I will let it to the default thread group, or you can name it just a suitable name to define its purpose. Threads for concurrency testing. So no comments, and action to be taken after a sample error is continue. Number of thread users. So let's make there are 10 number of let there be 10 number of concurrent users. So number of threads is number of users, virtual users. You can make it 100, 1000, whatever. And ramp up period, let us make it 5. So we have got 10 threads or 10 users and ramp up period in 5 seconds. So we have got 5 seconds for all the 10 users to um, come up. So basically the ramp up period is the time in second it takes for the JMeter to start all the threads specified in the users. So if you set the ramp up period to, for example, 60 seconds and the number of threads to 10, JMeter will start one thread every second. That means one user every 6 seconds it will be added until all 10 threads are active or all 10 users are active. And then this loop count, this is the number of times each thread will execute the test plan. For example, if you set the loop count to 5, here it is set to 1. If you set it to 5, each thread will execute the test plan 5 times, but I want the thread to execute only one time. Okay. Now, at this juncture, it will be the right time for me to tell you that my application should concurrently be running. So I have already run this application to do API, and I will show you the Swagger. Swagger UI is there. So only when this application is in the running state will this JMeter create the to-do items for concurrency testing. Okay, so let it be on the minimized way. I mean, let it be on the background. It's running, and let's get ahead with our job. So next thing is I have to add to the thread group. I'll have to add a sampler and HTTP request sampler. Now this HTTP request sampler is, you can name it anything, but let me name it, because this is a get request test, so it's get to do item. And again, no comments, and web server. Okay, so my protocol is HTTP. Let it be HTTP and localhost The server is localhost and port number is, here it is 5017. So if you are at any time, if you are in doubt, you just check your application. You can check your application from the Solution Explorer. You can create go to the launch setting. So HTTP port is running on 5017. HTTP localhost colon port number 5017. So that's what is written over here, 5017. And path is, if you recall the previous lectures where we used to set the path to front/API/ to do items. Okay, if you recall, or you can consult your notes again. Um, and we'll keep all the default settings as they are. All right, and then we have to add, here it is body data or parameter. You can add parameters, but for get request we don't need any parameters or body data. That will be only used for the post and put request. All right, so next thing is we'll add add listener and the view result tree. Okay, now here it is pertinent for me to mention what is view results tree and what are the listeners. So because again, click add listener, and from the listener node click on view results tree. So listeners in JMeter are components that collect and display the results of your performance test. They provide insights into how your application behaves under different loads and help you analyze the performance metrics and patterns. And the view results tree listener is one of the built-in listeners in JMeter. It's particularly useful for viewing detailed information about each individual request made during a test run. And when you use the view results tree listener, you can see sampler result, request and response data, assertion results, timing and latency, and errors and failures. So we'll see each of the pertinent things one by one. Let's run this test. Okay, so either start, or you can start without any pauses. So either of these green buttons will play. You start the JMeter. Okay, so once you click on start, it will ask you whether you should like to save. So say yes. So once you say yes, by default it is coming to the bin folder. Bin is not the right place to save it, so let's save it somewhere else. So in the this I have created a JMeters folder, JMeter files. Okay, so let's open this and get to do item j.jmx, or can create a better name, generic name. Concurrency tests.jmx. All right, and then if you now it is already run. So if you click on view results tree, you can see everything is already there. That means you got the sample result, you got this request. Because it's a get request, it is already shown http localhost port number /API/ to do item, get data, no cookies. Okay, so this is the request header was like this: connection keep alive, host is localhost 5017, user agent Apache HTTP client, this version, okay, and Java version. And response data, so this is the response body, ID, name, learn C# is complete false, ID 1, this is ID 2, name learn ASP.NET Core is complete false, ID 3, so this is that one, and this is here ID 3. Okay, so you got what was there on the Swagger. If you look at Swagger, you can confirm this. So just to double check the results and get, so if you try it out, click on execute. So you've got learn C#, learn ASP.NET Core, build a web app. So ID 1 to 3. So these are only reiterated with these get to do items. So exactly the same get to do item is, created 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this proves that concurrency is working. So if you now can clear this result tree, and I will show you by clicking again, start without any pause. So you can see that 10 get to do items are created. That means, and we've got a sampling rate of 5. That means what? Every second there are 2 get to do items being created. So in 5 seconds, all these 10 get to do items are getting retrieved, rather retrieved from the database. And if you click any of them, they're all the same. So same get to do item. 10 users have been created simultaneously, and so that it proves our concurrency test is working. And we have also checked it from the Swagger